My name is Azar Zia and I have secured 97 rank this time in the UPSC examination, and I'm here to share my story with you, how I prepared for this examination. Basically, before I start, I'd just like to give you my background. Alright, good afternoon. My name is Azar Zia and I have secured 97 rank this time in the UPSC examination, and I'm here to share my story with you about how I prepared. Before I start, I'd like to give my background in brief. I am an engineer, as many other candidates who prepare for this examination. After my engineering, I did my MBA. I worked for many years, almost three and a half years, and then I decided to prepare for this examination. I quit my job. I was working in an MNC, and finally I started preparing for this examination. This was my third attempt, of which the first attempt was an unprepared attempt. So technically this is my second prepared attempt in which I have got through. Now, before I say anything about my preparation, I would just like to say that whoever shares their idea or their preparation strategy, it should never be taken at face value. Everyone has their own story, everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and whatever I'm going to share about my preparation today will probably be very different from how other people have prepared. तो इसमें हर किसी में फर्क होगा, और मैं चाहूँगा कि आप जो है मेरी बात को समझे कि मैंने क्यों किसी तरह से जो प्रिपेयर किया वो क्यों किया इस तरह से. So at the very first I would like to say that after having prepared for this examination for almost 2 years, I have come to a sort of conclusion which according to me is a sort of success formula. So many people would give a lot of success formulas, but I believed in this. I'll just write it down. So if you see, I believe that success is made up of 3 components. Okay, everyone thinks that success is 99% perspiration and 10% luck, but I believe that it is 50% our attitude, how we think, हम कैसा सोचते हैं, हमारी चिंताधारा, सोचधारा कैसी है. So that determines how successful we are in any examination in life in general. 40% I would say is the effort, the hardcore work that we put in, and 10% is luck. Now this 10% luck does not come until the other 90% is done by us. So what do I mean when I say attitude? When I started preparing, I had this belief, because I had cleared other competitive exams also earlier. This is something that I believed strongly in, that to track any examination, we should start with the end goal in mind. That where do we want to see ourselves after we pass this examination? So if you are preparing for an MBA, you need to see what qualities are required for a manager. Similarly, for this examination, you need to see what qualities you are aiming for. Are you wanting to become an IAS officer or an IPS officer, or any other service that you want to choose? What qualities are required there? Because this examination is designed in such a way that it will test us for those qualities. For example, in this examination, discipline is very important, perseverance is very important. ये हर एग्जाम में होता है, but इसके साथ emotional maturity, conscientiousness, कि आप अपने दूसरे जो enjoyment है उसको sacrifice करके प्रायोरिटाइज कर रहे हैं अपने काम को, जो इस केस में आपकी पढ़ाई है. बिकॉज ऑल दीज क्वालिटीज विल बी टेस्टेड वंस वी गेट इनटू द सर्विस. Because once you become a district magistrate or once we become a high level officer, we will be required to imbibe these qualities within us. So unless we develop our personality in that way, we can never hope that to successfully prepare for this examination. That is what I have always believed. So attitude involves all those softer aspects of our personality, of our character, which we build during this preparation. This involves certain subtle things. जो लोग हमेशा सोचते हैं कि सिर्फ पढ़ाई करने से एग्जाम पास हो जाते हैं, that is not the case. सिर्फ पढ़ाई तो सभी करते हैं, but why is it that some people are more successful and some are not able to succeed? The main reason is how they think. Whenever we are preparing for a tough examination like UPSC, there will be failures in between, there will be depression, there will be times when we feel very low. So in real life also that is the case. Now if we do not have the emotional maturity, how to bounce back from every small failure, then we will probably never be able to last that long and continue our preparation in the same pace that is required for this examination. So that is very key, to keep a more positive attitude. Many of us become very negative. Many of us एक attempt में नहीं निकला तो शायद ये मेरे बस की बात नहीं है, बहुत self doubt हो जाता है. So these are things which are negative traits which we need to weed out of our personality. We need to work towards inculcating the positive traits in ourselves. So it is very important that we mingle with such people also, who are positive, who are go-getters, who are achievers. हार जीत लगी रहती है. It is important to win the war. We may not win every battle. In this examination we take a lot of test series. किसी में अच्छा perform करते हैं, किसी में बुरा perform करते हैं. जब बुरा perform करते हैं, we should not feel that everything we are not, our hard work is not paying off. We are not capable enough. This self-doubt we must eliminate. Similarly, it is very important to stay away from negative people for this examination, because negativity can be very infectious. So I have personally seen that. So other than this, time management, it is very crucial. I think I have not been addicted to social media. Facebook, Twitter, I hardly visit my Facebook profile, and as far as Twitter is concerned, I don't even have an account. Some people have other addictions. They spend a lot of time on the phone calls or chatting with their friends. Now the key thing is that everyone has 24 hours. We do not have unlimited amount of time. So we need to make sure that we devote a large part of our day for studies and maybe some amount of time for leisure. Balance in life is also very important, because this examination is not like a short sprint of a 100-meter race. This is like a marathon. और ये मैराथन में अगर आपको दौड़ना है तो आपको स्टैमिना चाहिए, और स्टैमिना बिल्ड करने के लिए यू कैन नॉट ऑलवेज स्टडी. आपको थोड़ा बैलेंस भी चाहिए लाइफ में. सो दैट हेल्प्स टू कोप अप विद स्ट्रेस ऑल्सो. So for example, I personally used to enjoy watching movies if required, listening to music, because that used to calm me down, that used to bring down the stress levels, and day in, day out, that is very important. So if you have to run a marathon and you have to make sure that you live a balanced lifestyle, थोड़ा हेल्थ पे भी ध्यान देना चाहिए. We should go out for walks. I always used to go out for walks. I used to do light exercise also, when for not much, 15-20 minutes a day. Have healthy food. Of course, indulge myself also once in a while, because all that is part of the life. We cannot live a life of a sannyasi just for this examination. That is my personal belief, because ये हमारा preparation है आगे की जिंदगी के लिए. When we get into the service, we will have this kind of pressure, and we have to make sure that even then we lead a balanced life. So accordingly, we have to prepare right now itself. So time management is very crucial. I'll come to it once again when I talk about the specific aspects about my preparation, how I was able to manage time more effectively. The other thing I would like to emphasize is that this examination tests not just whatever you are studying within this 1 or 2 years of preparation. This examination tests your entire life's experiences. Starting from your school level, what we have learnt. I have worked in the corporate world. Even that experience has helped me in my answer writing. In that exposure to private business class has helped me with my optional. So these things are all going to get integrated. I believe that the best investment that we make in our lives is on ourselves. That knowledge that we accumulate over a period of time, all of that integrates and culminates in success in this examination. So do not discount your prior experiences wherever you have worked or whatever you have studied. Somewhere or the other, in prelims, in mains or in interview, that will come handy. So we should look at it from that long-term perspective. This was the attitude part, what I have spoken about. This determines to a large extent how successfully we are able to prepare for this examination. क्योंकि अगर हमारे attitude में ही negativity होगी या attitude गलत होगा तो क्या होगा, हम कभी मैराथन खत्म ही नहीं कर पाएंगे, पहले ही हम चूक जाएंगे, हम थक कर हार जाएंगे. So to take care of this problem, we have to have a positive mindset, and the attitude is very important for that. The next part, which is what most people talk about when they talk about their preparation, is the effort part. The effort basically is the hard work that we put in, the subject level preparation, the examination preparation that we do. Now, another, if I like mathematical formulas, so I like to express my thoughts in that terms. So, effort can be written as productivity into time. Productivity यानी कि efficiency. Many people spend 12 hours studying every day. Still they are not able to make it. Why is it so? It is because किताब खोल के आप बैठे हैं, you are staring at the book. आप 10 या 50 घंटे भी लगा देंगे तो आपकी कोई learning नहीं हो रही है. The key thing is to learn. So productivity is very important when you are studying. Some people require to spend less time. बट उसी टाइम में वो लोग ज्यादा पढ़ पाते हैं बिकॉज देयर कंसंट्रेशन लेवल्स आर हाई. आई पर्सनली हैव नेवर बिलीव्ड इन having a fixed number of hours for studies throughout my preparation. I used to prepare as and when, as much as I felt was required for finishing a particular portion. So I used to set targets or deadlines for any chapter or any specific portion that I used to study, and accordingly I used to devote time. अब इस पे 10 घंटे लगे, 4 घंटे लगे, 2 घंटे लगे. Sometimes you are not in the mood to study. At that time, there is no point, keeping your books open and going on studying because nothing is going into the brain. So, whatever is your mode of study, you should think about that and study accordingly. There is no fixed rule कि 10 घंटे ही पढ़ने हैं या 12 घंटे पढ़ने हैं. Everyone has their own advantages. I was able to study in 4 hours what some people took 6 to 7 hours to study. So, I used to study less. So that was my advantage. I used to spend the rest of the time to relax or to watch the news or something of that sort. So accordingly, everyone should tweak their preparation. Now the key is that why do some people require multiple attempts? Okay, so there is the time factor that comes into play. अगर आपकी efficiency high नहीं रही है first year में, if your direction has also not been correct, if your effort has been in the wrong direction, you have not got the right kind of guidance, you are studying books in the wrong manner, so उस केस में क्या होगा, lot of your productivity is going down. So in that case you will require more time. तो इसीलिए कई लोग first attempt में नहीं attempt कर पाते हैं. Some people take 2 attempts, 3 attempts. In my case also, if I were to relate my story, so I started my preparation effectively in 2016. My first attempt although was in 2015 when I was still working. At that time, I had taken the attempt just to gauge the level of the examination, whether I should quit my job to prepare for this examination full time, because I was in a very well-to-do job. So quitting that job was a big decision for me. And when I took the first prelim examination, I had no preparation. I just wanted to see without any preparation how much I am able to score. And I was able to score almost 30 to 35% marks without any basic preparation, just on the basis of my prior knowledge and the news that I used to keep in touch with. So that made me optimistic that if I give full-time preparation for this, it is possible for me to crack this examination. So in 2015, late 2015, I quit my job and I started preparing full time for this examination. 2016 onwards, the first year, I had started my preparation by studying the basic NCERTs. Like most students, I also searched online. I was not enrolled in any full-time coaching. So the problem today is that internet is a big resource for us, but it is also a source of information overload. There is so much information, so many strategies that we all get confused whom to follow, which strategy is the best, and trial and error itself takes a lot of time. So my first preparation, मैं सिर्फ prelims की तैयारी कर पाया था पहले 4-5 महीनों में, and my optional preparation was very poor, and for mains also I had not really started preparing as such. So I was able to clear prelims that year, but of course, my mains preparation was not up to the mark. To compound it, I was in Delhi and I suffered from chikungunya that year. There was a sort of epidemic then. So I was not able to prepare fully for even that 3.5, 4 months that we get for mains. So, but I was confident that, okay, I knew where my drawbacks are. It is very important that we always evaluate ourselves from time to time. That where are we missing out? Kahan galti ho rahi hai? Unless we do that, we will never know where our shortcomings are. So accordingly, I analyzed myself and I said that yes, these are my shortcomings, and if I am able to prepare for one more year properly, I'll probably be able to crack it. And this year I'm standing in front of you. That strategy worked for me. So now I'll go into a bit of detail how I went about preparing for prelims and mains and optional as well as my interview. So for preliminary examination, the first year I made some major mistakes because I was exploring this, how to prepare this. I was reading multiple sources, multiple websites. I was trying a lot of different strategies, and that took a lot of time. To finally come down to what strategy would suit me best, by the time I came to that, it was almost 4 to 5 months into the preparation, and prelims was just 1 or 2 months away. So clearly, तब तक मैंने सिर्फ prelims की ही broadly तैयारी की थी. Mains का क्या होता है, syllabus क्या होता है, I was not even fully aware. I just knew very, broadly what topics to be covered, but no detailed preparation was there. And I was able to crack prelims that year based on study of NCERTs. NCERTs, as we all know, are very important for any base level preparation, because I had my schooling has almost been 10 years before, 10 to 12 years before, so I was totally out of touch with these basic subjects. So NCERTs were required. Thereafter, the basic books, everyone knows what those standard books are from which to prepare. So I studied those and I was able to do prelims. The mistake I made was I tried to study too many sources, and although I was able to clear prelims, for mains it became a major hurdle for me, because I had very short time to prepare for mains, especially general studies, and I could not take any test series that year because my knowledge itself I was not able to consolidate. I was trying to study from this book, that book, different sources. So my suggestion to everyone from my experience is that time is limited in this examination. We all want to crack it in the first attempt, so please don't make the mistake I made. Restrict yourself to a few important sources, because that is the success key that I realized in my third attempt, that हर सब्जेक्ट के लिए किसी एक अच्छे स्टैंडर्ड बुक को लीजिए, उसको अच्छे से पढ़िए, and revise that multiple times, and whatever extra information that you require, note it down in that book itself. I was not a big fan of making notes separately. So many people make notes, for them it is very beneficial. I find it very time consuming. So I prefer to study the book itself multiple times, and I underline whatever relevant portions I feel are important for revision purposes, and besides that I make notes in the margins of the book itself, so that even if I refer 3-4 books, the key points are there in one single book, and that book I will revise 3 times, 4 times before the prelims, before the mains, and that helps to retain the concepts and facts in the memory better. And apart from that, it reduces your pressure and stress, because जब हमारे पास बुक्स accumulate होती रहती हैं तो एक अलग ही stress उस पे आ जाता है कि कैसे cover करना है इतना सारी चीजें. So we should not fall into that trap. I fell into that in my first preparation period, but this year I did not repeat that mistake. So preliminary generally for somebody who is preparing for the first time would take about 4 to 5 months as per my experience, if you want to study it comprehensively, because there is current affairs, there is basic studies, subjects, and plus you are trying to study a bit of optional also. So it should be a holistic preparation of 5 to 6 months at least, if you are also including optional preparation during that period, and last 2 to 3 months before prelims should be dedicated only for prelims. One mistake that I also made was in the first attempt I did not take too many tests. We should take one test series, any one test series of any institute, and do that comprehensively. That will give us the confidence, because almost all test series are similar. There is not too much of an advantage in anyone. The main thing is that your learning should get enhanced. So उस test series के जरिए you should be able to identify 2 things. One is your gaps in learning, because book पढ़ते वक्त there are many things we do not realize that we missed out, or some things we did not emphasize on. So the test में वो question आता है and we make mistakes there, we will never forget that mistake, and when we read the solution for that, वो हमारे दिमाग में बैठ जाता है कि ये गलती की थी, वो गलती आप दोबारा नहीं दोहराएंगे. And the second thing that we must do when it comes to prelims in tests, we should analyze our trend of how many questions we should attempt, how many mistakes we are making in general. When we take 20 to 25 tests, in general we get a sort of idea how many questions I need to attempt to get the cutoff score. For example, for me, I always have to attempt more questions, approximately between 90 to 95 to get a decent score, like about 120 plus, because irrespective of how well my paper went, I would always end up making 20 to 25 or even 27 mistakes. So because this examination is so uncertain and कोई भी ऐसा नहीं है जो हर क्वेश्चन का आंसर जानता हो, there is a lot of guesswork, smart guessing is involved. So accordingly, people also must prepare smartly. So when they attempt, they should know that इतने मेरे on an average I make mistakes, so I should attempt so many questions in the examination. That is what I did, and that really helped me in both the prelims last to last year as well as last year. Now coming to the main strategy. The biggest mistake I had made last year in mains was that I did not take up a test series. The answer writing for mains is very crucial, and my logic at that time for not joining a test series was कि कुछ पता ही नहीं है तो क्या लिखूंगा आंसर में. बट इस गलती में मत जाइए. शुरुआत में कुछ पता नहीं होता है, बट एक्चुअली यू डोंट रियलाइज इट. आपको ऑलरेडी बहुत कुछ पता होता है विच यू ऑलरेडी स्टडीड इन प्रीलिम्स. यू जस्ट नीड टू सप्लीमेंट इट विद सम एक्स्ट्रा प्रिपरेशन ड्यूरिंग मेंस. सो डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट योर सेल्फ. स्टार्ट ऑफ, मे बी यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू आंसर ऑल द क्वेश्चंस करेक्टली, बिकॉज when we are in prelims mode, we are only looking to eliminate options and get the right option. That is a fact-based exam. Mains mein aate aate the game plan changes. Here we have to analyze, here we have to consolidate our thoughts and write them down, and that too in a very limited period of time. Unless we train our mind to bring all the points that we know, all the learning that we know, consolidated within 200 words in that short amount of time, in the examination we will make big blunders. And this is what happened with me in the 2016 mains. I had not written any test. My first mains test was in the actual UPSC exam itself, and in the first paper itself, GS1, I missed out on almost 8 to 9 questions. I could not attempt all the questions at all. I was not able to manage my time, and as that exam went on, I was able to improve upon my speed, but I was not able to judge initially कि कितना time देना चाहिए question को. I was writing essay type answers, and I knew there and then कि मेरा नहीं होने वाला, because clearly knowledge was inadequate plus exam preparation was inadequate, test strategy was inadequate, time management in the examination was inadequate. So I was very clear कि नहीं होने वाला है. This year I did write a test series, and I wrote it regularly, judiciously, and it really helped. Now, personally, initially I was not able to attempt all 20 questions. I was only being able to attempt around 13 to 14 questions, and I was very disheartened because my marks were not exceeding 60s or 70s, whatever the evaluation was happening in those mains tests. But my advice to everyone is that do not get bogged down by this, because I personally realized it that after 4 to 5 tests, your learning curve goes up, and then gradually you start attempting 16, 17 questions, because you are also simultaneously preparing and studying. तो आपका knowledge quota भी बढ़ रहा है and आपका exam practice भी simultaneously बढ़ रहा है. So when both of them come together, by the end of the exam or test series, you will be able to attempt 19 to 20 questions pretty well, and your knowledge will also be of that level that you are able to answer them sensibly. In this examination, if I were to give one key advice to students from my experience, is that it is essential that you don't leave out any question. 20 questions are there, irrespective of how much you know, you should try and attempt as much as possible. 19 to 20 questions, because every mark that you leave out, that will matter in the final result. So even if you write something, an introduction, a few points based on general understanding, you will get 2-3 marks, and that 2-3 marks can be very crucial between you making it to the list and not making it to the list. And I made it a point that I attempted all 20 questions in all the examinations this year, and even in my optional, where last year I had left almost 40 to 50 marks in my optional paper. This year I made sure that I wrote each and every question, and I think the knowledge also had gone up slightly, so I was able to make sure that I wrote sensibly. Now in answer writing, a key point is what is the structure of answer writing. So the basic that I will tell you, everyone has their own style of writing, but my strategy was that I heard from somewhere, I don't know how true this is, but those who have already made it through the exam always guided us that introduction and conclusion zarur likhe. So write an introduction of 2-3 lines maximum, write a conclusion at the end of 2-3 lines maximum. In between, I always wrote in point form, because para form mein likhne ka time nahi hota. You hardly get 6 to 7 minutes to write every answer. So 4 to 5 points is all we know. Please bear in mind that we are not here to do a PhD or a master's course. We are here to crack an examination. We need to know just enough to make sure we get through the exam. So no point studying hundreds of books and doing a thesis on every topic. We need to know 4 to 5 points on every topic. The width matters. The depth matters to some extent, but not to the extent that you keep studying one subject very seriously and forget about the others. सब कुछ पढ़ना है और सब में marks लाने हैं, balance करना है, because every year we don't know which paper you are able to score better, which paper you are not. This year, for example, I was expecting my ethics paper had gone very well, and compared to last year's standards, I was able to write very good answers. But overall, this year ethics marks have gone down. So if I had banked only upon ethics, then I would probably not be in the list today. So every paper is important, and we need to give sufficient time for preparation of each. This was what is about the mains. Answer writing is the key. As far as the studying portion is concerned, the approach has to be changed. Approach should be more about what's happening around us, the current events that are happening for every subject. For every topic that is there in the syllabus, my approach was that I used to study the background. For example, if I took a topic like self-help group or pressure groups. Now this is paper 2 GS2 के topics है. Now इसमें हमेशा कोई नया या dynamic सब topics नहीं है ये. There is not too much current events happening in these. So at least we should know the background. How did it start? What was the first self-help group movement, etc., etc. So that background will help us in two ways. One is that in the answer we will be able to give a good context. The introduction will be much more short and crisp, and the other way it will help us is to whatever newspapers we are reading, it will, if there is any news relevant to those topics, we will be able to associate with that, and that will also help in retention. Coming to newspapers, when I was talking about time management earlier, I personally was not a big fan of reading newspapers very diligently. Personally, because I study better by revising the same thing again and again. And newspapers हमने एक दिन पढ़ा और दूसरे दिन नहीं पढ़ा. So I used to spend hardly 10 to 15 minutes scanning through the newspaper to know what is relevant, what's going on. I used to have mobile apps. उसमें I used to go through the Hindu app, sometimes Times of India app, Economic Times app, and just go through what's going on around me. So just to get a brief idea. For prelims, studying from the newspaper was not very efficient for me. So I did not study it from the prelims perspective. For that I used to use compilations of current affairs that many institutes come out with. All of them are good, so any one can be followed. And for mains, the analysis part, some editorials were relevant. Not all editorials of Hindu or Indian Express were, I didn't find all of them useful. I used to study selectively whatever I found relevant for the examination purpose, because we are not critics. Many of the editorials are from a critic's point of view and they're political in nature. We don't need to know those things. We need to know certain basic facts and ideas about the topic in hand. So study the newspaper from that approach as per my suggestion, and then consolidate it with whatever some current affairs compilation or magazine that we are following, because here some faculty of many institutes who are much more better informed are already doing the hard work. They are compiling it for us. So why reinvent the wheel? Use our time more judiciously. Spend it on optional, spend it on test taking. why try to do the same thing by yourself? So I see people spend 2 hours, 3 hours noting down newspapers, say notes. Was not a big fan of it. So it might work for some people, for me it did not. So this is slightly, I have deviated from the convention. Similarly, Yojana, Kurukshetra, I did not find them very useful for myself. I try to avoid them. I try to restrict my sources as much as possible. So I would suggest that you also, if you find Yojana Kurukshetra useful, please go ahead with it. But make sure that you consolidate all of that so that बाद में आपको 10 sources से ना पढ़ना पड़े. During exam, we will hardly have time to revise. So it's important that we limit our sources. So this was my main strategy primarily. Coming to the optional, my optional was public administration. And in public administration, the preparation strategy, I mean, it's not very relevant for all of us here, but the main idea even in optional is that we should study few sources, but study them comprehensively and take a test series well. That kind of sums up my preparation for this exam. I hope it is useful.